Hey, it's Elizabeth, Countess of Low Carb, and on this episode, we're going to interview Dr. Ken in a two-part series. Coming up next. Happy Friday, sister. Hi, Dr. Ken. How's it going?
Hey, great. How's it going?
Good. Everybody, Dr. Ken, our resident keto doctor expert. If you're watching this video, please make sure you click like, subscribe, share it. But if you don't know Dr. Ken, he is an amazing keto expert doctor. He has a #1 Amazon best-selling book, Lies My Doctor Told Me, which is in the description below. He has a huge YouTube channel, which is a plethora of information. You can go watch several of his free videos where he talks about the keto diet, and also is on Facebook, Instagram, website, all these other cool things I will put in the description link below. So, that was a mouthful.
Thank you. Wow. Hey, happy Friday. How's it going?
It's good. I leave for the beach here in 2 hours. Not that I'm counting, but the Countess is very excited to get a little tan on her pasty white glow.
Yes, very nice. Very nice. Where are you going?
We're going to the Outer Banks in North Carolina.
Yes, very nice.
Yeah.
I've never been, but I want to go. I'm jealous.
Oh my gosh. It's my jam. I've been going there for more than half my life. I love the Outer Banks. It's my Zen tranquility space. So there we go.
Nice. Very nice.
Well,
what are we talking about today?
We have a million questions, but first, how was London? Did you have a nice time? I'm
London
sure everyone wants to know
great.
how it was.
We had a good time. We kind of went off plan the first 2 or 3 days, and we had some not feeling great because of that. But I think Nisha just said to hell with it and just stayed off plan. But I kind of started tightening it up the last few days and started feeling better. But on the trip back home, she did not feel well at all. It did not go well eating off plan. And so we probably will not do that again. I got to get my nipple cream. Hang on. Okay. There we go.
You two, I cannot. Dr. Ken is referencing, I just interviewed Nisha a little while ago. You guys can check that out on Facebook, and it'll be uploaded on YouTube soon. Nisha talks about nipple cream on her mouth, which is why Dr. Ken, and now I'm blushing. I am completely just, you with the poop and her with the nipple cream. I'm gefelt over here.
You're welcome.
So let's talk about blowing out adrenals.
Yes.
We have tons of keto questions. But if you do have chapped lips, you can use nipple cream to help them.
You definitely can. It works great. And I think all guys would just love the concept of putting nipple cream on their lips. It just sounds like something I'd want to do.
Dr. Ken, when Miss Nisha Silas-Berry met, I was like, what the hell is she talking? Like, what is she? I can't. It's Friday. It is Friday, that is for sure. So let's talk about adrenals. We have a bunch of questions, and we're going to make this a 2-part series on YouTube, so check out the other part. Adrenals. How does one fix adrenals if they've blown out their adrenals through stress and they have cortisol belly? Not that I subscribe to that. How do we fix this? How do we fix this adrenal issue from stress?
So there's a couple of different theories about this. There are a lot of very intelligent experts who don't think there's such a thing as adrenal fatigue. And then there's another set who say, yeah, there is adrenal fatigue. And I kind of straddle the fence on this. I think that there are symptoms that look like adrenal fatigue. And I think that you can definitely have adrenals that are overworked. I think you can definitely have adrenals that just can't keep up with the stress and the terrible diet of your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. But whether or not adrenal fatigue is an actual thing or not, I'm not sure yet. I'm still researching that. I don't know if you've ever heard of Chris Kresser. He's a pretty prolific author, and he's pretty big in the ketogenic, low carb, high fat community. And he doesn't believe there's such a thing as adrenal fatigue, and he makes a lot of sense with that. But at the same time, I think it's a useful concept to talk about. Because what we're trying to do is feel great and not get sick and live a long time and not be overweight. That's what we're all after, ultimately. And so I think it's a useful concept to use to talk about that, so that the average person can understand where we're going with this. And so the adrenal glands, they sit above your kidneys. They look like little caps that sit on your top of your kidneys, and they are in charge of many hormonal functions in the body. And in med school, one of the very first things they teach you is that the adrenal glands are in charge of salt, sugar, and a little sex. That's the mnemonic that we use to remember everything that the 3 different parts of the adrenal glands take care of. And so they're intimately connected with salt metabolism. They're intimately connected with sugar metabolism, and then they do play a role in sexual function as well. It's much more so in some people than others. But yeah, so they kind of take care. So they're very important organs. You really want your adrenals to be happy, because if those three metabolic things are not optimized, you're not going to feel good at all. And so there are tests that we can check in the office to check your adrenal function. There are adrenal diseases. You can have Cushing's. You can have, it just escaped me, the aldosterone one. But you can have all these different inborn errors of metabolism with the adrenal function, or you can just have later in life, you can have adrenal function that is either too much or not enough. And so what you don't want to do is you don't want to overstress your adrenal glands by eating a crappy diet, or by just suffering, allowing yourself, self-suffering is what I call it, from chronic stress in your life that you could fix if you just chose to fix that, right? But sometimes it seems easier to just not deal with that stressful situation, whether it's a life partner that you would like to push down the stairs, or whether it is the two jobs, both of which you hate, but yet you have to work them to pay the bills. There are all these stressful things that humans put themselves in the middle of. They get used to it, and then they feel like, I can't do anything about that. And that's chronic stress. That's bad stress. That's not the stress that you ever want. And that can play a huge role in depleting your adrenal function. And basically what you're doing is you're using up all of your adrenal reserve, fighting with this seemingly permanent situation in your life, and it's really not permanent at all. I guarantee you that either I or Countess or Nisha Solis-Berry could come to your house and we could fix your crap in an hour and a half. Okay, we would clean house, and you would not have that chronic stress anymore. But it's easy for us to sit here and say that, but it's a lot harder for you to do, I know. But you gotta lower the stress in your life, the bad stress. And so if you're trying to learn to play the piano, or you're trying to improve your maximum lift on your bench press, that's stress, but that's good stress. That's good for your system, right? But stress that you really feel like you can't do anything about, that's bad stress, and it'll really sap your adrenals and the rest of your system as well.
So how do we know, okay, because I've been on Jeannie and I were talking about this morning. If you have, I'm stumbling over my words because it's personal. It's personal to me because I have a belly. I have this belly down here that I'm assuming is from too much cortisol, right? Is that one of the factors?
Maybe. It could be, but it could also just be genetic. Some people hold fat in different places. Usually holding fat in the belly is either more of a male trait, or it can be a cortisol trait. You're absolutely right about that. Or it could be from having babies. You may just have more lax abdominal musculature and stretched out skin. So it could be any combination, any percentage of all that put together. But yeah, definitely the cortisol could play a role in you holding fat at specific places on your body. Definitely.
Is there anything, CZ asked, does nutmeg essential oil really help adrenal fatigue? And I have another part 2 of that after.
Maybe. I've had a lot of women, and Nisha, she really loves the essential oils, and we both use them all the time in our home. And I've had a lot of women tell me that it seems like the nutmeg oil really seems to help with the symptoms of adrenal fatigue. Now, do I believe that nutmeg oil cures anything? No, but I think it probably helps with the symptoms.
Is there something you can do to help with this cortisol, or my big old belly that won't go? I mean, it's still, even though I've lost 50 pounds, it's still hanging. So how do we,
exactly.
how I know I'm not alone in this.
No, you're not at all. And so if it is from a cortisol issue, then you got to take care of the 2 things that I just talked about. You got to continue to fix your diet, right? Because eating an inflammatory, high carb, high starch, high sugar diet is going to stress your system. That's going to raise your cortisol. If you're working shift work, that's going to keep your cortisol chronically high. That could lead to that gut, right? If you have an adrenal problem, that can lead to that belly as well. And so one of the first things that everybody who's got that belly and they don't think that they should have that belly is to go let their doc check their adrenal function.
Yeah.
Check an abdominal ultrasound so you can look for an adrenal tumor. And then once you've ruled that stuff out, then you know, okay, it's either my environment, it's my stress, it's my diet, or it's just my lifestyle. It's one of those things. And some people, I'll tell you, this can become permanent, not permanent, but to the point where you have to have a surgical procedure to fix that. And sometimes people, you could either spend another 10 years trying to fix it, or you could get it fixed. And so that's always a personal decision that people have to make. I would much rather you fix it naturally, but I understand if you've been trying for years and it's not going anywhere, at some point you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to get this fixed.
So Dr. Fung talks about in his complete guide to fasting, which I happen to have right over here, and I'll put in the description link below.
Love that favorite book. Love that book.
Thank you, Dr. Ken. You really have been on the forefront of that about intermittent fasting, Dr. Fung. But he says that from his patients, he's never done a skin removal type surgery. So is skin removal different than taking the belly? Like, is that like liposuction?
No, and what he's talking about is the redundant skin that you can get after you lose a lot of weight, right? And so, but if you're using fasting as a part of your weight loss, if you're fasting for at least, it looks like 18 or more hours a day, then you're going to kick something called autophagy into gear, where basically your body says, okay, we've been fasting long enough, I'm going to start recycling. And so obviously you don't need the skin. And so your body's going to start using that up. If you've got a pre-cancer, your body's going to say, hey, this is obviously not helping. I'm going to go ahead and auto-digest that. I'm going to reuse the fat. I'm going to reuse the protein. I'm going to break it down into amino acids, and I'm going to use that at other places. And so your body's perfectly capable of that, but you have to fast probably for at least 18 hours straight before you kick that in. And when I say 18 hours, I'm talking about a water-only fast or a water and salt. You sipping on the bulletproof coffee probably is going to keep you from kicking in autophagy to the extent that you want to kick it in. But I think you probably do kick in some autophagy, but if you're really wanting to fast track the autophagy, it needs to be a water-only fast. Does that make sense?
But he says on page 254 that you can have 1 tablespoon of fat. For me, getting rid of my belly and autophagy.
Yes, I totally agree.
That's what you're saying.
I totally agree, but if you want to take the autophagy to the next level, then you need to give your body nothing but water. And that way you're not getting dehydrated, but your body's like, dude, we're not eating. We got to start recycling some. And so the fat in your liver and the fat in your pancreas are the very first things that your body uses, because those are the most dangerous things. And so a lot of people, that what they think is a pendulous belly is really just a liver and a pancreas full of fat. And so when you start fasting for 18 hours or more, that goes away. And so, fasting is definitely going to help with redundant tissue, with intra-abdominal fat, which can make you have that, what's your term for that, Countess? What do you call that? Because I don't want to be insensitive.
Usually I say a beer belly.
Your beer belly. Okay, yeah, we'll call it beer belly. I just didn't want to be insensitive.
No, you can't. I mean, that is.
But yeah, for the beer belly, the thing that's really going to help the most is obviously eating keto. But then you've got to incorporate some intermittent fasting and get that fasting window at least 18 hours a day. And then you can have a little fat, but that might slow down the autophagy a little. But I don't think it stops it. I think you still have some autophagy happening, and so it just might take a few months longer to get where you want to go if you're adding the fat. But if you want to speed it up, then it's water and salt only. That's going to be your fastest.
Water and salt only. People are going to be like, what about coffee? What about tea? But you're saying
coffee, tea, water. Coffee, tea, water, I think is fine. Okay. But if you're adding even just a little bit of fat, then your body is like, oh, well, there's some fat. I might autophagize some things, but I'm not going to really get on it, right? But autophagy is what your body does. And it's what everybody talks about when they talk about starvation mode. But the problem with when they say that is they think that your body's an idiot, right? And you've read the book, and so our bodies are very wise. They're very intelligent. So it's Jason uses the example of you just bought this new, beautiful furniture for the living room, and you've got some old stove wood down in the basement. And so the heat kicks off and it's 20 below. What are you going to throw in the fireplace first? You're not going to chop up your couch and throw it in the fireplace. You're going to go get the stove wood. And your body's way smarter than you are. So it's obviously not going to start burning your muscles and your heart and your brain. It's going to start burning crap that you don't really need. Your body's smart enough to know better than to start digesting your muscles. That's what all the muscle heads will say. If you fast, you'll digest your muscles. And that's just dumb. That doesn't make any sense at all. Your body's way smarter than that.
You know who's smart? Dr. Ken. Dr. Ken Berry. Everybody go get his #1 Amazon best-selling book, Lies My Doctor Told Me. Check out Dr. Ken's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all those lovely social media sites that are in the description link below. Make sure to like this and share it. We want everyone to hear Dr. Ken is so smart.
Plot twist. I want to hear about your book.
My book?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I want to know.
Okay.
Now, I'm the interviewer. You're the interviewee. Tell me about this new book I hear about, Countess.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's a #1 new release, Amazon, called The Mom's Guide to Ketosis, and there's a whole bunch of other things after that. Basically, it's a Mom's Guide to Ketosis. It's for brand new keto people is who I geared it towards. So a seasoned keto person may love my recipes because it does have a bunch of the Countess recipes that I use personally with my family, but it's a beginner's book, an easy read for people to pick up and get the gist of keto quickly so people can implement it quickly.
Nice. How many different recipes do you think are in the book?
30. Around
30 different recipes. Yeah, good. Perfect. 30. And so this would be a great thing if somebody's just started keto, if they're a mom, they got kids, they got a husband, this would be a great book for them to be able to, it's a quick read. They could go through this. They got some quick recipes and they could get the basic tenets of the ketogenic way of eating.
That's right. That's right. And I looked heavily, I love Amazon, but I looked heavily for the mom and for me as an entrepreneurial, serial entrepreneur, busy mom book, and I couldn't find one. So I wanted to create my own. It's for a mom, and it could be moms who work or stay at home with their children, which is the biggest work of all.
That's awesome.
That kind of integrating that in of being a mom and how you do this with your family too.
Will you put a link down below? Because I want to buy that after we're finished.
Thank you. Thank you. I would love to send you, it's going to be out on hardback. I'm going to get that up next week. I would love to send you an autographed copy.
Please. I want the SIG in there, and I want a sweet little note and a SIG. Yeah.
I will. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. Well, I want to flip it back to you because Dr. Ken, you are brilliant. You really are. To me, I've said this before, you help thousands of people. You're going to help millions of people because you say things that are clear to people and easy for us to understand, myself included, that sometimes we need it in layman's terms. So. Yeah.